The new Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta is opened for everyone during this weekend, so it's time for me to bring you a video explaining which classes and which weapons are the best ones to use. Although the full weapon arsenal isn't available in the beta testing, we still have couple of the combinations that are possible to go with. So without making this intro any longer, let's get right into it. When you first launch the game, you have 4 classes available, and those are the Assault, Heavy, Officer, and the Specialist. Those are the 4 basic trooper classes, and you will start every round by playing with them. On top of that, the game also allows you to spawn as a Jedi character, or as any other hero basically. You can do it by collecting battle points during playing the game, but this is a topic for another video, which I actually already recorded. So if you are interested to hear how to unlock Jedi classes, or how to spawn in tanks, or even aircraft, just go to my previous video, everything was explained here with details. In this one we're gonna focus on the basic classes, and starting off with the Assault class, it has 150 HP points and is a fast moving class, which makes it a perfect choice for someone who likes to play aggressively and tend to stay in the front lines for the most of the time. Every character in Battlefront has their own set of skills which are available to use during the gameplay. Those can either be modified or upgraded by using star cards, but we're gonna mostly focus on the default ones, since those are the perks that you're most likely to play with during this weekend. The first ability that you can use on this class is the thermal detector, and it is basically a grenade. After you throw it, you have to wait for your ability to regenerate, and it works the same for all of them. Depending on how powerful the ability is, it might take longer or shorter time to regenerate. The second ability that you can use in this class is having a sidearm shotgun. It is perfect for taking out enemies in the close combat, and yes, it is one-shot kill. The ability number 3, which is the scan dart, is basically a scan dart that you shoot and you locate enemies by doing this. Fairly simple to understand, but you might not see me using it in the gameplay actually. And that's because of the fact that I managed to get the perk which replaces the scan dart, and this one that I'm using in the gameplay gives me the ability to regenerate my own HP. Might sound a little bit overpowered, but if you drop the perk, it's definitely worth to replace the scan dart for it. Combining grenades with secondary weapon shotgun and self-healing ability makes you a perfect killing machine. And talking about the best primary weapon for this class, well, is the blaster called CR2. It is the fast-firing weapon with fairly quick overheat, but then again, if you manage to control it and play with it properly, you will just shred enemies into pieces up close. You can obtain the weapon very easily, you just need to play with the Assault class, first with the default weapon obviously, and then you will get the crate. And after you open the crate, in the first crate for the Assault class, you will get this weapon. There are different mods available to be equipped on this gun, but we're not gonna focus on that, since you aren't really likely to grind that many points that are required to unlock them. I've played the game for 2 days, and I only got 1 modification for 1 weapon unlocked. So this is most certainly not gonna be the part of the beta testing. Moving on to the Heavy class, well, that's quite of a beast to be honest. It's got 200 HP points and is moving a little bit slower than the Assault class. But don't worry about it, because other aspects of it compensate for all the negatives. Same as with the Assault class, we're gonna start with the basic abilities that are available to use on this class. The ability number 1, which is usually a throwing ability in every single class, you get an impact grenade. That's pretty simple. You throw a nade and it detonates on the impact. However, the second ability is way more interesting, because it gives you an option to use a sentry gun, which deals massive amount of damage to your opponents. There is a trade-off here though, because once you use the ability, you're not gonna be able to move practically at all. You have the ability to turn around and walk very slowly, but in reality, you behave like a mini tank. And what would be a tank without the proper armor? And while technically it isn't an armor, it is a shield, protecting you from incoming bullets. This third ability covers most of your body, including half of your head, so enemies will most likely go for your feet. And how to prevent that? Well, just crouch. There's also a trade-off to the mobility once you deploy the shield, but you're gonna deploy it in situations where you know that someone is going to engage you, so that's not really a problem anyway. And talking about best guns for this class, I have to admit that in this one, both of them are actually great. I feel like the default one is easier to use when it comes to shooting and leading up shots, but then the second one, which is unlocked by crates, is harder to use, but provides more firepower and allows you to take down enemies faster. Currently in the beta stage, heavy class is considered to be the most powerful one out of all 4, so if you don't know which one to use, make sure to try out this one. You're not gonna regret it. Moving on to the specialist class, which is the Mr. Sniper guy, which only has 100 HP, but can practically shoot enemies across the whole map. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that I'm gonna start off with the abilities of the class. When it comes to the stuff that you can throw, you get the shock grenade, which slows down enemy movements if they get hit. The ability number 2, so-called infiltration, does a couple of things. First, you get a very good sidearm, which is some kind of pistol, but it is very powerful. Then, you spot enemies for your teammates, and on top of that, you are invisible to the enemy scanners. And the ability number 3 gives you the thermal binoculars, which aren't really that thermal, because you can practically see through the walls. It's like ESP, but without the lines showing character models. But you've probably already seen it in the gameplay, because I'm using it constantly while playing the specialist. When it comes to the best weapon for this class, there's only one choice. The A280 rifle is superior in every aspect to the default rifle that you get, so don't even bother to go back to the default one after you unlock this. Not only it allows you to score kills faster, but also you can get a 3-round burst mode for it in the mod section, and it becomes even more powerful then. And moving on to the last class from the 4 basic troopers, let's talk about the officer. He's got an average amount of health, and that being 150 HP points, but has very good abilities, especially for the teammates. Starting with the stuff that can be thrown and then goes kaboom, this class has a flash grenade, which is meant to blind enemies, so it isn't anything special, but the next abilities actually are. This guy can boost HP of the teammates standing around him for the limited time. Imagine standing in the tight corridor, shooting the enemies, and you get damaged. Lucky you, because you've got officer who can boost your HP and everyone around you, making you come out alive from that firefight. Oh, and by the way, for this class and for this specific perk, I got the highest upgrade possible that is in the game, and this one makes your gun not overheat for the limited time. Of course, your and your teammates' weapons. And the third gadget that you can use is the disruption tool, which makes enemy weapons overheat, diffuses explosions, and immobilizes turrets that are around you. When it comes to the best weapon for this class, there is a surprise here, because the DC-17 default weapon is actually better than the second one that can be dropped from the crate. At least that's how I feel about it, but it was way easier to take out enemies with the default pistol than with the second one. I don't know why. Maybe it has the higher damage, maybe it's just easier to shoot with it, but it was way easier for me to play this way. Alright, so we've talked about all of the classes available in the game, and which one should you pick to play with? Definitely the heavy class is the most powerful one at the moment, and it's the easiest to score kills with it. Not only you start the game with a great weapon right away, but you can also deploy a shield, which is crucial in 1v1 scenarios. But if you wish to play more aggressively, make sure to check out the assault class as well, because this one, as I already mentioned at the beginning, is perfect for the fast-paced playstyle. And when I'm saying that those are the best classes to play with, I'm not claiming that the officer and specialist aren't good. I just feel that it's easier for a new player to do well in the game as an assault or the heavy when you are still in the phase of learning the game mechanics. And that would be it for the best classes, guys. If you would like to get more info about the Battlefront updates and news, make sure to follow my Twitter, which is linked in the description. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and I see you on the Battlefront!